Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for August 22, 2022, the just shocking edition. And we are shocked in the story from the New Republic that there is massive corruption in Iraq. Who would have thought? It's only been corrupt since the U.S. invaded, probably long before that, but it's still corrupt. And as a minister of parliament said, corruption in Iraq is systemic and has become a prevailing culture in which ministers in the State Department and their positions are considered business projects for their owners to purloin money from. So if you're doing business in Iraq, I'm sure I'm not telling you something you don't know, but I'm shocked, just shocked to find there is corruption in Iraq. Next up, when is heat a compliance issue? Well, for UPS, it is becoming one, as UPS drivers say brutal heat is endangering their lives. If you've ever been in a UPS truck, you know that they are un-air conditioned, and drivers are working in these in just brutal conditions going forward, particularly as blistering heat waves sweep across the U.S. this summer with little hope of rain or any temperatures which might cut back a little bit. So if you think climate change doesn't impact compliance, ESG, the S in ESG, or corporate culture, well, it does. And just think of the delivery drivers, particularly those from UPS, without any kind of relief. They're getting ill, they're passing out, and as heat advisories swing in and out by the government, UPS drivers are still out there delivering. Next up from Bloomberg, Citibank is fined £13 million over struggles to monitor UK trades. The Financial Conduct Authority said Citi failed to implement market abuse controls, and the penalty, however, was discounted after Citigroup agreed to take remedial action and resolve the case. It's paid billions of fines, or millions of fines, I should say, over this issue. And now the continued troubles around monitoring of trades continues to be a bugaboo for Citi. And finally, we take things in a little bit different direction, and I revert back to my days as a trial lawyer where I did insurance litigation, and we had an interesting appeal where a life insurance policy was denied payment by the insurer because the purchaser had no insurable interest in their life. They were simply a straw man for another company when they bought it, and the court correctly determined that with no insurable interest, there can be no valid policy. So don't forget insurable interest. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.